with her. Just leave us alone.
No, Mr. Oligario. I have the right to clear this up. I'm with her.
I asked you a question, Zenaida. Where is my daughter?
I won't have a relationship with someone who's a backstabber, no matter if he's the manager.
This wedding of yours is the only thing that can save us from losing all that we have. Amparo's the perfect wife for you.
My soul is very sick, Father. It's on fire.
So tell me what's going on.
It was Fabiola, and now Amparo is doing this
I've
to you.
told you, I don't want to talk about this subject anymore. Get out of my office, go to the pool or buy her rags.
So from then on, I felt I wasn't the Jenny Lee that you remembered any longer. I didn't dare tell you the truth because I thought I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I wasn't good enough, so I asked Charlene to replace me.
Where's Jenny? Are you feeling upset after confessing? To Harvey?
You were a silly, clumsy young girl. But over time, you drew me in, and I couldn't help but be near you. Regardless of looks, your position, or any other factors.
I screwed up. Let me get drunk. I was dumped! Ruthlessly dumped by Harvey!
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Maura. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up ahead. And to kick us off, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has promised the government's support for ongoing development programs meant to uplift the livelihoods of the citizens in the northern parts of Kenya. Speaking on Tuesday when he presided over the North and Northeastern Development Initiative Consultative Forum, the DP said the region is endowed with potential that needed to be exploited for benefit of locals and the country, which is being overseen by the Deputy President, implemented by the World Bank in collaboration with the national government in 10 counties, among them Garissa, Isiolo, Lamu and Mandera.
The northern Kenya region has vast lands that can produce enough food for consumption by the people of Kenya and have surplus for export. And we need to support this region. We need to come up with programs for dams, big ones, water pans, boreholes, to see how we can convert the northern Kenya region into a serious production area for our food.
Now, in other news, the national government has commissioned a multi-billion shilling water project in Kilifi County aimed at addressing challenges in accessing clean water for residents. Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, who had an extensive tour of Ganze and Malindi sub-counties, commissioned a 29-kilometer water pipeline and inspected the ongoing construction of the Baricho 2 borehole and water pipeline. Ganze Member of Parliament Kenneth Kazungu assured the CS that he will rally members of Parliament to support budgetary allocation for the water ministry, saying that provision of water to Kenyans should be a priority.
Confirm that this project has been supported by European Union, and the people of Ganze hapa Mbamba are very, very happy about this project. We are covering about 11,000 people for this project. I'm happy that the governor is a partner in this project, and the contribution of 100 million is between the national government and the office of the governor, and that is the way to go.
Katika mradi mkubwa ambao tumepanga pia kama county ni kujenga matangi makubwa ya maji. Tuna moja tunajenga pale Rabai, moja litajengwa hapa Bamba, tunajaribu tujenge lengine pale Mwangea, ili tuhakikishe matangi haya yatakuwa yanabeba lita 500,000, ili wakati maji ya watu wamepeleka sehemu nyingine hizi siku 5, tuwe tuna matangi makubwa ya kutosha, ili siku zote 7 za wiki yawe watu wanapata maji, hawangoji maji baada ya siku 3.
Kweli tulikuwa tukitoka katika maeneo yetu kutafuta maji kule Griama Range, ambayo iko na umbali wa zaidi ya kilomita 40 kwenye kufikia Griama Dam.
And now on health matters, Mombasa Governor Abdul Somad Nasir has scrapped medical assessment fees charged to persons with disability to enable them access to services in all public health facilities in Mombasa County. Governor Nasir has also ordered the immediate mapping of all persons with disability, among them children with autism within Mombasa County, so that they can benefit from cash transfer programs, among other services. Let's take a look.
Governor Abdul Somad Nasir said after the mapping, the county will roll out a comprehensive medical cover to over 10,000 people in Mombasa, with priority given to persons with disability.
Ile pesa ambao watu walioko na disability wanalipa kwa sababu ya kufanyiwa assessment ya medical will be free. Na hii itafanywa with the support of the ward administrators na mwishowe kutakuwa na village administrators.
He said immediately after Ramadan, his administration will start giving universal healthcare coverage to over 10,000 families, among them children coming from poor backgrounds, orphans, disabled widows and widowers.
Priority will also be given kwa wale watoto ambao kwamba wanatoka katika nyumba ambazo kwanza ni yatima ama ni mzazi mmoja mwenye kumtizama yule mtoto, pia vile vile wale ambao kwamba ni wajane, na pia vile vile wale ambao kwamba ni walemavu ambao kwamba hawajiwezi.
The governor was responding to a story by Mombasa County Coordinator Juliet Rua, who noted that persons living with autism have continued to bear the brunt of marginalization in health, education and development due to a lack of registration cards. Rua said registration of persons with disability in Mombasa will highlight the nature of their disability. It will also ease the burden of addressing their plight and needs without victimization.
Si rahisi mtu ajue huyu ni mtoto ambaye ako na autism mpaka apimwe. Mtoto huyu saa nyingine anakuwa mistaken sana. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba kama ile ada ya assessment inaweza punguzwa ama hata ikatolewa kabisa, tungeshukuru sana.
Beneficiaries of social protection programs will be getting their money before public servants earn their salaries. Addressing a social protection conference in Nairobi this morning, President William Ruto said the new changes will take effect from June 1st. The president regretted that the beneficiaries of the programs have been getting their money late, sometimes up to 7 months after they are due. He said the government is committed to promoting and advocating for an integrated social protection system that can achieve increased coverage through effective coordination in order to achieve its full capacity, besides pursuing rapid economic transformation and social protection for all Kenyans.
The development of an inclusive and integrated social protection system in our country. Secondly, what are our strategic options for the expansion of coverage and improvement of shock responsiveness in order to leave no one behind? These are the foremost considerations in promoting and advocating for an integrated social protection system that can achieve increased coverage throughout the effective coordination of diverse actors in order to focus our full capacity on the people. Our philosophy of development is people-centered. We must empower the people to effectively actualize their potential by taking full advantage of economic opportunities and to have capacity to optimally benefit from development. We are confident as a nation and as government that we can simultaneously pursue rapid economic transformation and social protection at the same time, and that ultimately we shall achieve both of them. Social protection cannot wait until 2030, when we will have achieved our economic vision. If it does, the development achieved at the expense of or in exclusion of social protection will be hollow and fragile. We must undertake both commitments simultaneously because the standard of social protection is a good measure of sustainability and the promise of shared prosperity.
In the words of the former US President Franklin Roosevelt, we are constructing a more inclusive society where no one is left behind. The objective of this conference is to promote the scale-up of integrated and adaptive social protection system aimed at addressing multiple
In other news, the government has reaffirmed its commitment in finding long-term solutions to drought emergencies and strengthening resilience of livelihoods in arid and semi-arid lands. East Africa Community and ACEL Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the government is continuing to roll out interventions to save the children, pregnant mothers from the arid and semi-arid regions who are currently facing starvation.
The Drought Resilience Project is provided strengthening, and it has also increased NDMA's capacity to drive ending drought emergency innovations and stakeholder-led coordination. I believe that this action will bring us closer to our goal of ending drought emergencies in Kenya. I reaffirm our commitment to finding long-term solutions to drought emergencies and strengthening resilience of livelihoods, especially in the arid and semi-arid lands.
We believe that support to farmers to raise productivity would not only enable them to feed themselves, but also generate a surplus that contributes to national food security and the economy.
So there are many possibilities that we are exploring even beyond the support to NDMA, and we are happy that the government is taking this strong stance now in the fight against climate change and drought. And I hope that the other countries in the region will join you for that, so you have a very strong unified voice that is also building support of the international community.
Moving on, Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Bernard Kituru says locals in the area are not feeling the impact of the corporate social responsibility of tea processing companies operating in the region. The legislator argues that it is ironic that companies which benefit directly from locals are unable to support schools and provide scholarships for needy children.
But I still have a big problem with some big estates in Nandi, you have no audacity whatsoever to help the community, even to sponsor one kid school.
The county government of Samburu has provided over 300 camels through restocking initiative to the residents of Samburu East constituency. The residents were adversely affected by the drought situation which is currently witnessed in the county.
Following a prolonged drought situation that has seen most animals dying due to lack of fodder in Samburu County, the county government has begun a restocking program. At least 300 camels have been given to the most affected residents.
Samburu County, vile mnajua kuna vitu mbili ambayo inakuanga shida hapa, tuna kiangazi na tuko na wizi ya ng'ombe. So kama serikali tumeamua kuleta hii ngamia kupea watu kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza bandits hawapendi ngamia, hawapendi kuchukua ngamia. Ya pili ile kiangazi inakuanga Samburu hapa, ngamia sasa huwa inafanya mzuri kwa sababu ngamia inakaa muda mrefu bila kunywa maji, inakula majani ya miti, nyasi ikisha inakula majani ya miti. So that's the reason as to why we are moving to camels. One, hii unaona hata hii ngamia ni breed mzuri, imetoka huko karibu na Wajie huko. So at least in some few months tutakuwa tunapata maziwa mingi hapa ya ngamia.
The locals hailed the county government, noting that the move will bring them back to their feet.
County wamesaidia sisi kwa sababu mali yetu yote imekufa na jirali. Sasa asante sana kama wamepewa sisi ngamia. Sasa hatuwezi uza, tutaenda kusalisha mpaka upate maziwa ya kuuza naye.
Samburu County Governor Lati Lelelit said his government will set aside some allocation during this financial year for restocking.
The next few years, tunahakikisha kuwa tunaendelea kununua ngamia. Mwaka hii budget inakuja, tutanunua ngamia zaidi ya 1,000 kupeana tu. So that watu yetu, wakati kuna kiangazi, ngamia inaweza kaa muda mrefu, hata wakati mvua inakosekana. So tunataka kubadilisha zaidi ng'ombe iwe kidogo na ngamia ikuwe mingi. Ndio leo tumekuja kufanya hivi, na iko mafamilia watapata ngamia leo, na tutaendelea kufanya hivyo kwa mwaka yenye tutakuwa hapa uongozi.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abey.
High poverty index in Busia County has been singled out as the main factor contributing immensely to the low academic standards in the county. According to Busia Women Representative Catherine Omanyo, lack of school fees leading to absenteeism has largely been attributed to the poor results.
Speaking during the disbursement of bursaries to needy students in Busia County, Omanyo noted that the high levels of poverty in some families in the county have been a challenge translating to lack of school fees and poor nutrition.
Na najua atanisaidia na atasupport wengine. Initiative ya mama ni nzuri, sijawahi ona.
Kama mwanafunzi kweli mzazi hana karo, mtoto wake huwa anafukuzwa. Na akikaa nyumbani, hiyo muda amekaa nyumbani amepoteza. Saa zingine unaweza fukuzwa ukirudi exam. Sasa utaandika nini?
Omanyo also called on the residents to take advantage of the rains by planting food for sustainability, calling on the government to boost the National Government Affirmative Action Fund kitty.
Warudi kwa shamba, wapalilie, wavune. Ukishakuwa na chakula, hata unaweza uza kama iko excess, ukajishikilia na pesa.
The legislator at the same time observed that Busia County should be ranked among the marginalized due to the high poverty index. Arnold Feather for Lunchtime News.
A community-supported project aimed at eradicating dilapidated mud houses in Othaya constituency has so far seen 70 families upgraded to timber houses with a cemented floor. The project, dubbed Tuinuane, was advised by the need to get a lasting solution to the Giga menace. It is the brainchild of the area Member of Parliament, Wambiru.
This is not the kind of demolition we are used to, the one that leaves the occupants in the cold. It is a campaign to bring to an end dilapidated mud houses in Othaya constituency and replace them with timber houses with cemented floor.
Sasa watu wengine wanaenda huku wanatoa watu hiyo jiga, wanawatoa na wanawacha hapo. Kwa hivyo ukitoa jiga na wacha mtu hapo, mayai umewacha kwa mchanga. Kwa hivyo hata kama mtu akona nyumba mzuri na akona nyumba ya mchanga, tunakoroga hiyo nyumba.
The project dubbed Twin is the brainchild of the area member of National Assembly Wambiru Wainaina and was advised by the need to get a lasting solution to the Jiga menace in Othaya before it metamorphosed into status upgrading of the living standards of Othaya residents.
Tumefanya kitu tunaitwa bottom up. Tunaanza ile mtu wa chini kabisa. Na tutaendelea namna hiyo. Unasikia kuna nyumba nyingine watu wako na tabu na wamelua na jigas na wanakaa nyumba ya mshanga, lakini iko na ni ya mshanga lakini imejengwa mzuri.
More than 70 families have so far benefited. The member of National Assembly funds the project from his pocket and donations from Othaya sons and daughters living in Nairobi and other well-wishers.
Project sio yangu, ni ya wenye kijiji hiyo. Hiyo kijiji ndio wanasema, hiyo ni mtu wetu, ndio wanajua ni mtu akona tabu. Kwa hivyo hawa ndio wanakuja kusema tujengee huyu. Na tukienda kujengea huyu, wanakuja kama watu 50.
The community has embraced the campaign and participates in the construction of the new houses.
Ni shukrani kutoka kwa Mungu, wao wenye walikuja wakanisaidia kama marafiki, wakakuja sasa kunisaidia kunijengea nyumba.
Umbwa zingeingia ndani zichukue chakula, na lakini tumefurahia sana kwa sababu amemtoa mahali hata sisi tumeshangaa
sana. Tunasema hii ni bottom up. Kwa hivyo mheshimiwa wetu tunashukuru na tunakuombea maisha marefu, uishi hivyo na ukuwe na roho kama hiyo ya kupenda wale watu ambao wako chini.
Church and community leaders identify the needy cases and forward the same to the member of National Assembly.
Larry constituency Member of Parliament Mboro Kahangara has expressed his commitment to supporting the 30% initiative in job allocations for people living with disabilities. The legislator says the initiative will cushion people living with disabilities against some of the challenges they face, which range from struggles in accessing education to use of public transport and accessing government offices that lack ramps for the ones who are physically handicapped.
Kuhakikisha kwamba tumetunga sheria na zile sheria ambazo zinahusika na mambo ya walemavu, tuhakikishe kwamba they continue getting the services from government. Kama kuna pesa ambayo inatakiwa kuja kwao, iwe inaweza kupatikana kwa urahisi, kwa sababu tunajua kuna wale wanapewa kwa sababu ukiwa na mtoto mlemavu mzazi anaweza kupata usaidizi kutoka kwa serikali. Tuhakikishe kwamba through the offices ambazo ziko katika sub counties kwamba hiyo pesa inaweza kufika kwa urahisi, na ndio maana tumehusisha serikali, all the officers are here so that now after registering we are able now to follow up and ensure that the people are getting the services and whatever aid they may need from kutoka kwa serikali.
Over 250 Embu University students will benefit from distribution of 2.6 million shillings endowment funds meant for needy students. The funds will cater for their entire university education. This comes amidst appeal to well-wishers to come on board and help boost the funds.
Of checks to the 284 students at Embu University grounds, Embu Governor Cecile Mbarire lauded the move by the institution and promised county government support in boosting the university endowment funds. She challenged the students to take advantage of the funds, noting that education is a key in breaking poverty cycle.
Through these efforts, I'm certain that our education standards will keep on improving, and soon the county will be ranked as one of the top giants in academics. Financial aid can mean the difference between a student dropping out of school and having opportunity to continue to realize his or her dreams.
Chairman Embu University Board of Trustee Lenny Kivuti called upon well-wishers to help boost the funds, adding that it has grown from 0 to 40 million shillings since its inception.
We just need to start at home and convince Kenyans that they can bequeath some of their wealth to the university, and it will be taken care of well for many generations to come.
Given our commitment to supporting our needy students, we have witnessed an increase in the number of talented young people applying to join the University of Embu.
Opicho Chemtai for Lunchtime News.
And away from that, the county government of Kajiado has embarked on rehabilitation of roads connecting several villages in Imaroro ward of Kajiado East Sub-County. According to the county, the roads will ease transport and communication, especially during the rainy season when the ward is usually locked out from the rest of the sub-county.
Speaking when launching the road construction that include a raised drift across the major seasonal river, the Kajiado governor said the road will connect to Kajiado Isara Tarmac Road and Konza towards Mombasa Road.
Serikali, mpango wetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba mwananchi wetu amepata huduma ambayo tuliwaahidi. Tunajua barabara nyingi zimeathirika kwa sababu ya mvua. Tutajaribu kuiweka njia ya emergency ndio watu wasisimame, lakini kuna zingine tutatengeneza kamilifu.
Governor Lenku reiterated his administration commitment to rehabilitate roads destroyed by heavy floods through the emergency kiti.
Wako watakuuliza mbele maendeleo yao. Wale wamekuja upande wa serikali, tuendelee. Jana tumefungua shule Kajiado Central. Leo tunazindua hospitali ya level 4 Mashuru na barabara hapa na sehemu nyingi za hawa MCS kazi yao inafanyika.
He urged local elected leaders to forge a unity of purpose to serve residents facing myriad challenges. Lucy Uside for Lunchtime News.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
You're seeing your potential. Unafanya kazi nzuri sana.
Na tukilinganisha na zile recommendations ambazo tulipewa na Inspector Torome, we believe this is the right pitch for you.
Hey! Unataka nini wewe? Unaniumiza. Unataka nini? Unaniumiza. Unataka nini sababu utaki?
Governor, there are rumors that you have another family.
Rumors that I have another family. Well, this is my family, and I think it's one.
What do you think?
So from then on, I felt I wasn't the Jenny Lee that you remembered any longer. I didn't dare tell you the truth because I thought I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I wasn't good enough, so I asked Charlene to replace me.
Where's Jenny? Are you feeling upset after confessing? To Harvey?
You were a silly, clumsy young girl. But over time, you drew me in. And I couldn't help but be near you. Regardless of looks, your position, or any other factors.
I screwed up. Let me get drunk. I was dumped! Ruthlessly dumped by Harvey.
It is April. It is football made in Germany. Tuesday night, the 4th of April 2023, the DFB Pokal returns to the first quarterfinals in Germany. FC Bayern Munich takes on SC Freiburg in a heavyweight clash at 9:45 p.m.
Oh, what's the goalkeeper doing? And if there's one person you cannot give the ball to, it's the super sub.
Wednesday, the 5th of April 2023 will see the defending champions RB Leipzig clash with on-form Borussia Dortmund at 9:45 p.m.
Here comes Riemann to get the ball away from danger. It falls Emre Can's way on halfway. Emre Can! That is extraordinary. Absolutely stunning.
Catch Watch these momentous times in football history live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
You're seeing your potential. Unafanya kazi nzuri sana.
Na tukilinganisha na zile recommendations ambazo tulipewa na Inspector Torome, we believe this is the right pit for you.
Hey! Unataka nini wewe? Unaniumiza. Unataka nini? Unaniumiza. Unataka liva mutaki.
Governor, there are rumors that you have another family.
Rumors that I have another family. Well, this is my family, and I think it's one.
What do you think?
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. We shall be crossing over to Diani, where the Connected Summit 2023 is currently underway, dubbed Digital Economy, Endless Opportunities Shaping Our Future. And to bring us to speed, we shall be linking up with our reporter Carol Jenga to tell us more details about Day 2 of Connected Summit 2023. Carol?
Well, thank you for joining us right here in Diani, Kwale County, where it's Day 2 of the Connected Kenya Summit, and tech experts, government policymakers, innovators have come to discuss emerging issues in the tech space as well as the digital space, and how they can leverage on technology to roll out or to ensure that the digital economy grows in the next couple of years. The topic, or rather the theme of this conference, has been digital economy, endless opportunities shaping the future. And the conversation here has been centered on that theme, on how we can ensure we grow a digitally enabled workforce, as well as create online jobs for our youth. And in the morning session, we had a topic on the future of work in the digital economy, and tech experts sat down to discuss how they can leverage on the technology as well as other areas of emerging technological trends to ensure that they create jobs as well as other areas of growth. And joining me is Dr. Mark Mutunga to expound this more. He is one of the tech experts right here at the conference, and also a cybersecurity expert. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Carol. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Now we can start from how critical is digitization in the future of work?
The future is digital. There's just no question about it. Regardless of what you're doing in your stage in life, whether you're a fisherman in Lake Victoria on Mfangano Island, or you're a nomad in Northeastern, or you're a cattle herder in Masai Mara, whether you're a tea farmer in Kericho, the future is digital. One of the main things that I think every single country is struggling with around the world is employment for the youth. And the conversation that actually we're having here in the coast at this Connected Summit is around how best can we actually harness our efforts, private sector, government, civil society, to actually come around the possibility of creating sufficient platforms for the youth to actually acquire gainful engagements. And that is what we call jobs. And those jobs are actually digital jobs. Regardless of what you might have had skills in, what you might have been trained in, it is possible that using just your smartphone or using a laptop, going online, you can actually be engaged gainfully do a job, carry out a task for which you can actually be paid, even in foreign currency. That is happening now. It's one of the conversations that we are having here, and all the stakeholders actually have come together to explore tangible possibilities that actually can be put in place to make this happen. And I must appreciate what government has done so far. You have seen the Ministry of ICT together with other state agencies like Communications Authority, Konza Technopolis, TVET Authority, Communications Authority, ICTA, all have come together to actually drive this agenda of Jitume program in terms of setting up labs, computer labs in TVET institutions. And then after setting them up, then they invite the young people to actually be trained on online jobs. That's already happening. The question is, how best can you actually attempt to expand that? And one of the things that will actually have to happen is the government need to actually go on an overdrive to create and generate and put in place infrastructure to actually support those jobs. So we're not just basically waiting for young people to actually come to Nairobi to do those jobs. If we expand fiber to every single village and we set up ICT hubs in nearly every single village or in every single county or of every single ward, young people can actually go into those centers and be able to actually sit down, carry out tasks for which they're going to be paid and earn a living.
One of the key points I got from one of the speakers yesterday, especially the CS as well as the Public Prime Cabinet Secretary, is all about partnership with the government and the How critical is it for these two partnerships to ensure that there's a relationship that will grow the digital space?
There's no shortcut to that effort. There has to be a concerted, deliberate effort for private sector to work with government, because who are the creators of jobs? It's the private sector. The services is being offered by government, and so we have to actually come together as partners, because the private sector are really the engine of technology and the engine of the economy. And so government's role is actually in terms of policy to creating an enabling environment, but also putting infrastructure in place. That to me is very important. And so there has to be a convergence of the two. Fortunately, there are deliberate efforts to that end. I mean, myself being in the private sector, I work very closely with government to actually ensure that we establish some of these partnerships that actually really work. I'll give you a specific example on the Jitume program, which I told you, ICT Authority is a government institution, Communications Authority is a government agency, TVET is a government agency, Ministry of ICT is a government ministry, and all of them have just come together to set up this program of taking labs, computers into labs in the TVET institution. Then they bring us in as private sector to actually offer training, but not just offer training. We are the ones who actually connect with the rest of the companies around the world to source for jobs and bring them to place. And so it has to be a concerted effort, a combined opportunity whereby all the key stakeholders and players come together to make this a reality for the youth in Kenya.
Okay. Early on, you did mention about digital infrastructure, and the government is rolling out an additional 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable. We have seen 25,000 Wi-Fi hotspots. These are key areas you've mentioned that the government needs to focus on to ensure we grow the digital space and also online jobs. Maybe in your opinion, how further can we go in terms of ensuring that this is something that we can leverage on?
All those efforts need to go beyond promise to actual physical infrastructure on the ground. So connectivity actually needs to happen. I was talking a little bit earlier to the PS, and I was telling him I need the fiber cable from the mainland to the island of Mfangano where I live, so that the youth in Mfangano can actually also be able to access the internet. So that definitely needs to happen. So it needs to move from promise to action, and because without which it won't be useful. But I think I have a duty to also inform the public that yes, with the emergence and access to actually digital infrastructure comes certain responsibilities, part of which is the responsibility of government, but also for the public. The government has to actually work with all the stakeholders like us to provide security and safety for all the users to actually use it, and that's what we call cyber security. Then we all have a responsibility to actually educate the public on how they can safely use the internet and the access they'll have at their hands to achieve their personal and communal objective.
Okay, I know there's a lot we can talk about, but because of time, I have to let you go, Dr. Mark. And that has been the tech expert speaking to us right here in Diani on the Connected Kenya Summit and some of the various areas they are looking at. In the afternoon session, we'll be having women and technology. I know this is an area most women are interested in, and we'll be bringing you a story right from here in the evening during the 9 p.m. story. Back to you in studio, Jackie. Well, that was our reporter Carol Jenga with an updated report of the ongoing Connected Summit 2023. We shall be keeping you updated. For now, we cross over to Sarova Stanley here in Nairobi, where our reporter Hibak Said is currently on standby with details of the multi-choice program launch. Hibak, kindly bring us to speed.
Thank you so much, Jackie Wambiru. We're coming to you live from the Sarova Stanley, where MultiChoice Kenya is launching a new program, and particularly looking at how they can harness local talent in order to bring programs that are more Africa-centric and Kenya-centric. With me, I have the managing director for MultiChoice. If you could just tell us, you're currently live on KBC Channel 1 for Lunchtime News. If you could just tell us, how are you helping local talent in commercializing and ensuring that local talent are the main beneficiaries of these programs?
Let me start by saying that you have known us for sports and great international content, but in the last 5 years or so, you have seen us begin to invest a lot in local content. And part of the things that we do is not just investing in local content in terms of our own original programming. We also commission content from existing content producers in the country. And now the most exciting thing is that we're now beginning to diversify our slate of local content. So what we started doing starting last year, we started diversifying beyond telenovelas. You've watched Selena on our platform before in Maisha Magic. You have watched Njoro Uba. You continue to watch Kina, and all those pretty much are in comedic as well as what I would call telenovela type of genre content. Now, we have now begun to invest seriously into the crime investigative series that you saw us launch with John Allan Namu, the Maisha Mkanda, much earlier, and early this year in January, we also launched The Last Door on real life stories, fantastic production and content from John Allan Namu. Now we have gone further and begun to invest in reality shows, and the most exciting reality show on the continent right now is The Housewives of Nairobi, which has premiered on Showmax and will also be coming onto other platforms, DSTV and GoTV. Today in particular, we now launched the Gospel Series reality show, which is basically a story about us, about a couple of sisters. We have Size 8, we have Millie Wa Jesus and Kabi Wa Jesus, and of course Size 8 is coming with DJ Mo, the Mariahs. We have J.O., Janet Otieno, we have Betty Bayo and the stories behind Betty Bayo. We also have Nika, the Queen, as well, amongst so many other faces. So the other thing that we're also doing is also to begin to tell our stories the way we know them, honestly and authentically, and showcasing the side of Kenya and Africa that many people or international platforms do not have been able to showcase. So we continue to invest in the players, but also give our new stars and existing stars a platform to be discovered and a platform to become the real big stars on the real platforms and the greatest video entertainment platform that is DSTV, GoTV, and Showmax, brought to you by MultiChoice Kenya.
Nancy, if you could just tell us, these are local content creators and local talent in the Kenyan scene, and of course they want to be recognized globally, and how do they then appeal to the global scene? We've seen reality TV as one of the genres and one of the niches that people are really they're looking forward to. If you could just tell us about that.
For many years, we watched a lot of telenovelas from ads in Mexican soaps, and we related to them. For as long as we are telling stories that connect us at a certain point. So if you look at the O Sister story, you look at the Real Housewives of Nairobi story, it's a story that can relate to so many people, not just on the African continent, but also on the global platform. So again, one of the biggest advantages of being on the MultiChoice platforms that we are able to also, for instance, showcase you on our different platforms and give you a global arena where you can be discovered, obviously being on the #1 platform of choice for video entertainment in Africa. Africa. So we are indeed not just telling stories that are so unique to Kenya or so unique to Africa, but they also connect. We get to watch the Real Housewives of Nairobi, get to watch Kialo culture, and get to also watch what we have now launched, the O Sister. A lot of girls and women can relate to the stories of these girls and women that we are now beginning to see on the silver screen.
The film industry is going largely digital, and we see a lot of Kenyans usually, even when they're watching news, even when they're watching KBC, they come to the digital platform and they want to see things easily. How are you then taking advantage of this to touch on that customer base?
We've done a lot already. We started by first digitizing the customer experience in the self-service or self-help platforms. Now, recently we have begun to do a lot of work on viewing experiences. And if this proof to the testament of the fact that we are investing in the digital space, Showmax is a multi-choice platform. It's our first mobile digital platform where you can access content, watch whatever content that you want wherever you are at, and it's the only OTT platform on the African continent that you can access today that gives you both live content and, of course, VOD content that you can watch at your own space and time. And when I talk about live content, it is also news. We have Big Brother Naija, which is live 24-hour series, and Big Brother Titans. But we also have, for the very first time in the last 1 year, football. We put the World Cup on Showmax, and we also put the Premier League on Showmax. So we are really investing on the platform to be able to have as many more digital enthusiasts and natives being able to watch on their platform of choice. And as you heard earlier, we are extremely excited of the partnership that we have gotten into with Comcast, NBC, and Sky for us to be able to also bring the best technology to Showmax. So you will be seeing a huge improvement. All the Showmax fans and all the digital enthusiasts that want to be able to watch our content on Showmax, we will be upgrading our technology with the best in class, which is Peacock, which currently has over 20 million subscribers on their platform in North America.
Nancy, as we wrap up, content aggregation. You've talked about the viewer experience and trying to make sure that the viewer is at the center of content creation. How is this going to take place, and how can other, film producers and people who show film, how can they take advantage of this?
Right. So you obviously know the biggest broadcaster and the biggest aggregator of content on the continent. So basically, if you want to get to work with us, we work both where we commission work and what we call original programming, and we put in money in shows like O Sister, Salem, etc. But then there is also producers who actually produce their own content and direct their own content. They come and sell it to us. So to be able to work with us, we have a submissions portal where anybody, regardless of who you are at, feel free to go to a submissions portal online and be able to submit the content. And of course, I always say sometimes people also want to be heard. We also give audience to our regional director in charge of the Eastern and Southern African channels, who also manages the Maisha Magic platform, actually sits in Nairobi at Jamhuri Park. So we are very accessible. We want to work with.
Well, that is our reporter backside there with an update of the ongoing multi-choice program launch. We shall be keeping you updated. For now, let's move on. The Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives says the Naivasha Special Economic Zone requires 4.5 billion shillings to be operational. The committee noted that lack of funding to address the issue of access roads, electricity and water had affected development plans in the 1,000 acres.
75% of the land at the Naivasha Special Economic Zone has been allocated to 5 international investors involved in production of assorted goods. During a tour of the facility, the Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives took issue with the low development progress. The committee chairman, James Gakuya, said a lack of funding is eroding investor confidence.
We need serious funding where the funding are purely GOK. We are not expecting any donor money here. this is pure GOK, and therefore commitment for funds are inevitable.
It is about government allocating resources, and we are happy that this government of Kenya Kwanza has thought about industrialization as one of its key agenda items, and therefore it is going to actually focus a lot of its resources on industrialization.
The committee assured that the power station serving the economic hub would be ready by June, while water connection is currently being undertaken. The committee said it will push for the special economic zone to access 2.5 billion shillings in the next financial year to address the issue of access roads and electricity.
The requirement was 4.5 billion. So that we can be able to complete everything here. This is including, because road infrastructure, we have it all the way here, but we don't have any single funding for what we call inside park roads, then access road to various manufacturers within the park.
When we start the next financial year, out of the 4.5 billion, because we need to fast track these projects, then almost half of what is required should be funded in this financial year coming, and the last bit should come after the next financial year, so that in about 2-3 years, we can talk about an industrialized Kenya.
The industrial park has the potential of employing over 16,000 youths upon completion. Ndota Mokami for Lunchtime News.
The adoption and uptake of the warehouse receipt system has received a shot in the arm following the signing of a 3 billion shilling deal between the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry and IFC. The 3-year cooperation agreement will support, and among others, the development of a regulatory framework, a central registry and a dialogue series targeting private-public sector stakeholders. Government has entered into a 3-year cooperation agreement with the International Finance Corporation that will, among others, support the development of the regulatory framework.
Adoption and uptake of the warehouse receipt system is expected to aid in the reduction of post-harvest losses by enhancing storage, aggregation and post-harvest handling and access to markets.
This is a big day for the farmer. It's also a big day for the farmer because this is like a return to them of the golden days of 1970s, where coffee farmers in central Kenya used receipts, cooperative receipts, to educate their children in schools.
Currently, post-harvest losses account for about 30% of agricultural produce.
And for us, this project is important, the warehouse recipient project, because of a couple of reasons. One is increasing the productivity, as the chairperson as well mentioned just a minute ago. Secondly, is also to reduce the post-harvest losses. There's so much to gain if we will be able to reduce those post-harvest losses.
The deal between the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, as well as the International Finance Corporation, is expected to increase the private sector participation and investments in the warehouse receipt system.
Provide technical and advisory services to support the implementation of the Warehouse Receipt System Act that was passed in 2020 and the regulations around it that were passed in 2021. This will provide the market with clarity on what warehouse receipts can do, the legal status of warehouse receipts, the rights and obligations of warehouse operators and banks to catalyze the growth of warehouse receipts in the country.
So far, 5 warehouses have been accredited, while 230 are still undergoing vetting and verification to operate.
We want to ensure that we are not just looking at the maize and the grains, but this is a concept that we can apply. And I am very confident in this, that it's a concept that we can apply in any value chain.
The project is estimated to cost 3.03 billion shillings and is expected to be completed by December 2025.
This comes at a time when the government is focused on attaining food security, and as such, stakeholders are optimistic that this $2.3 million deal is going to go a long way in helping the warehouse receipt system meet one of its objectives, which is ensuring that the small farmer gets value for their produce. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
The government will offer training to small-scale miners on artisanal mining in a bid to enhance regulation and help alleviate unemployment. Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary Salim Boria says the government intends to formalize artisanal mining through reforms that seek to align the industry with the best global practices.
Kenya plans to increase the share of mining to 10% of GDP from the current 1.2% as spelled out in Vision 2030. Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria, who toured Vialo mines in Vihiga County, says the government plans to formalize artisanal mining in the country as it is recognized as a legitimate economic activity.
Huu ambao tunaunuia kutengeneza hapa mradi wa mambo ya mawe, tunataka kutafuta mwekezaji kuanzia wiki ijayo ili hii kiwanda ijengwe hapa kwenu.
Kwa hivyo hapa mahali hapa waliona ndio mahali central ambao hizi mawe zote kutoka hii kaunti zote zitakuwa kiletwa.
In 2019, the government suspended the issuance of new mining permits until the new airborne survey is concluded. Mvuria says small-scale miners will be trained on the viable equipment to use and align the industry with the best global practices. A recent report indicated that Kenya has more than 900 minerals that are yet to be exploited. Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
And in the sports arena, Kenya will be targeting to select a formidable team for this year's Africa Under-18 Youth and Under-20 Junior Athletics Championship in Lusaka, Zambia. According to the Director of Youth Development, Barnaba Kuriel, only athletes who meet the age and qualification time criteria will be selected during the national trials set for this Friday and Saturday at the Nyayo National Stadium. Kenya will be defending the Under-18 overall title, which they won during the first edition held in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, as well as targeting the Under-20 overall title. The top 3 athletes will be selected for all field events in the Under-18 Championship, while 2 athletes per event will be selected for the Under-20 Championship. The second Africa Junior and Youth Athletics Championship will be held in Lusaka, Zambia from 29th April to 3rd May this year.
The circular that we gave out, we were very strict, especially school-going athletes, that they must come with a letter from the principal of the school they're going in to certify, if they don't have this passport, to certify the document they use to enter the school, be it primary or secondary school, so that we document and verify that the document that we are having is a genuine document. Any other document which does not accompany the letter from the principal to the school they are in, then it will be subject to reconsideration, because we don't want and we don't entertain anybody or any coach or a teacher that encourages athletes to cheat, to give wrong ages, and if that is found for anybody to have done that, the severe consequences will follow, because we will not allow anybody to lie about their age. We want athletes that are actually the right ages to compete with the others from other countries.
Mauritius Net Team A and Cam 1 were crowned the winners in the men's and women's categories of the Mombasa edition of the Red Bull Half-Court basketball tournament that was played at the Aga Khan grounds in Mombasa. Focus now shifts to the Kisumu edition of the tournament slated for 29th April.
The tournament, organized by the Kenya Basketball Federation in partnership with Red Bull Kenya, was making a comeback for the 4th annual edition and saw teams fight for a qualifying spot to compete in the World Final that will be held in Belgrade, Serbia. In the men's semi-final fixtures, Mauritius Nets A beat Storms 18-10, while in the women's semi-final matches, Kaya Tiwi C punished Kaya Tiwi A 19-4 to book a final duel with Kaya Tiwi D, which had earlier beaten Akam 2 17-7. Akam 1 will be joined by Kaya Tiwi D, Kaya Tiwi A and Kaya Tiwi C in the women's category, while in the men's category, Moistures A will be joined by Moistures B and the Storms who have qualified to play in the national finals. The qualified team from Mombasa edition will play in the national finals that will be held in the USIU grounds on 27th of May this year. The focus now shifts to the Kisumu edition of the tournament slated for April 29th. For Lunchtime News, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Well, that report brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Maura. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Kupata sikiza tune hii ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Haki umefanya vizuri sana kunifikia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke
ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
It's a beautiful month. We have begun the month of April. Howdy! What's up?
It's a beautiful month indeed, Manzi. And then Eric Omondi.